Otumfour. The youth of Bafo Akoto's time knew of the tragic circumstances of Prempeh's exile, the 27-year alienation that Nelson Mandela would eventually share with him in African history. In 1897, Prempeh was aware of the imminent danger, or worse, end of his reign. The deportation orders that had been made by the British military were followed by the marching orders from Kumasi to Elmina. Yet, about 500 anti-colonial Ashanti activists and courtiers decided to travel with him up to Elmina before his final voyage to the Indian Ocean. If the tragic hero and bearer of history was at last returning, the right courtesies were to be given. The voyage from Seychelles was 2 months long, from the harbor city of Bombay, or what is now modern-day Mumbai, in India, through the port of Sudan, which is between Eastern and Central Africa, up north to Port Said in Egypt, still within the Red Sea, or the Eastern Arab world. It was from there that they sailed to Europe, first to Liverpool in England, and further across into the ancient port city of Marseille in southern France, and onwards to the British peninsula of Gibraltar on the south coast of Spain. They started the journey on the SS Olympia and finally made it to the Gold Coast on the SS Abyssine. Many of the welcome party or crowd slept at the Kumasi station on the eve of return till the expected arrival of the main train from Centenary at 6 a.m. the following day, that is November 12. Eventually, and one after the other, the 45 royal passengers, in a palpable state of anxiety, disembarked. The focus, as expected, was on Prempeh. Majority of the crowd had never met him, neither had they ever seen an image of him, which also explained why they were there in their numbers. They saw a middle-aged man and young royals returnees were carried on the necks of joyous others all the way to Asafo. Among them was the 10-year-old Mary Prempeh, daughter of the returning Asantini. The jubilation, she told me in 1989, went on till the evening as mothers looked through the crowd for their children who had gone unaccompanied. It will be a cruel expectation that Prempeh's persona will remain the same, having left as a young king at the presumed age of 26 and spending over a quarter of a century in a strange land. He was culturally adaptable to multiracial Seychelles. He took to adult literacy, especially the English language, and the most English of recreations, cricket. He and some of the chiefs were into herbal medicine and trained some Seychellois, including their leading herbalist, Charles Yako, in their medicinal garden. An anthropologist in Manhyia, J.P. Mahon, and I are still searching for a manuscript, presumably written by Prempeh, his chief herbalist, the Domnasi Hene or Ankasini, Kwame Boateng, and 2 chiefs of the Nsumankwa, Kwame Afre and Kojo Yeboah. The most important of Prempeh's new multifocal outlook was his interest in Western education and Christianity, which would be the most enduring on Ashanti society. A couple of weeks after he settled in at Asafo, he requested for a meeting with some immediate members of the ruling Oyoko clan. 41 of them attended. It was principally about their welfare and the additions made. Grandmothers and mothers went with the younger ones, and they were all introduced. Prempeh singled out 2. The first was Edward Owusu, son of his sister, Kuabakma, and thus his nephew. Kuabakma was the first royal to have unexpectedly died in Kumasi during the exile. The other was the son of a Kuya Echam called Berima Kwekwe. Prempeh made it clear to some elders of Kumasi that the 2 will succeed him as Asantini. This came to pass. Eduedowusu as Osagyman Prempeh II or Osei and Berma were saying as Opokuwari II. Eduedowusu had an interest in entrepreneurship instead of formal education, and his uncle supported him. As for Berma Kwekwe, days after the historic meeting, Prempeh personally took him to enroll at what is now the Centenary Primary School at Fantini Town, and left him in the care of the Anglican fathers. At some point, Edusei lived with them at the Church of England Mission House. Prempeh ensured the Christian growth of his successors, and it was clear that his interest was not an alibi for his early return from exile. The Harvard University historian Emmanuel Kwekwe once wrote that in need of spiritual explanation, Nana Prempeh was eager to learn about Christianity. Their conversion must have been powerful, for in converting, Prempeh was expressing allegiance to the Queen of England, as well as submitting to the religious oversight of the Archbishop of Canterbury. For many years, I found this as an extant truth. My conclusion later on was that it was more of his public policy decisions and the effect of his succession plan, which eventually manifested, possibly in the champion's conclusion. Many Ashantis were encouraged to go to Adisalda College, Cape Coast, until Prempeh College was established. It was Prempeh's children and other returnees from the Seychelles who later led the independence from the Diocese of Accra in 1973. The future of Opokuwari II, we must remember, was a servant of the sanctuary. He took over church leadership for over 3 decades as chancellors, registrars, wardens, and in a way created a synod structure linked to Manhyia. The submission to the Archbishop of Canterbury in Kent became one to the King of Asante in Manhyia. However, better relationships developed on bilateral frontiers. In 2023, the recently resigned Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, presented to Otumfour II the highest honor of the Anglican Communion, the Cross of St. Augustine, or the Lambert Award at Manhyia. It was for his and predecessors' significant contribution